Eve to the Judgment Day slated by the Edo State Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Abuja over the September 2024 governorship election outcome, the Edo State Governor, Monday Okpebholo, who may know his fate today, took to his personal verified X social media account, specifically at about 10 p.m. on Tuesday, to narrate the multiple battles is currently facing in office in recent days, remembering the teachings of one of the well-known political godfathers in Edo State and Nigeria politics, late Chief Tony Anenih, with emphasis on how his political enemies wanted him to fail over the 16 travelers killed last Thursday at Aromi town in the Essen northeast local government area of the state by irate mob over allegations that the victims were kidnappers terrorizing the community. Detailed accounts of the long thread of posts as published by Governor Monday Okpebholo on his personal X social media account on Tuesday reads verbatim below. The battle I couldn't afford to lose. There are moments in life when you are faced with multiple battles, each screaming for your attention, each pulling you in a different direction. It is in such times that wisdom, not emotions, must lead. Many years ago, I stood with Chief Tony Anenih in the car park of his home in Aromi, watching him navigate a storm of political battles. What surprised me was how calm he remained, almost too calm, except for one particular issue that seemed to occupy his mind. Curious, I asked him why. He started, Akpakamizer, as he called me. In life, when you are faced with several battles at the same time, and you do not have the resources to fight them all, you focus on the one that carries the greatest consequence if you lose. I never forgot those words. On March 28th, when the tragic incident in Aromi happened, that weight of leadership every leader knows became heavier. I was bombarded from all sides with diverse concerns. Your Excellency, you must not be seen standing against your people. You can't blame them. They've suffered enough at the hands of criminals. You are the governor of Edo State. Why are you going to beg northerners? You must bring the perpetrators to book. Justice must be served. On Friday night, while receiving a briefing from one of the security agents, he said gravely, Your Excellency, we should expect possible reprisals in the north, and even within Edo Central. At that moment, I knew which battle I could not afford to lose. I imagined families in the north, watching the gruesome video, seeing their sons, fathers, brothers, hacked down in a foreign land, far from home. The shock, the anger, the calls for revenge. I imagined the innocent traders, students, and workers from Edo traveling through or living in northern states, becoming sudden targets of retaliation for something they knew nothing about. I imagined chaos, reprisal killings in the north, counter-reactions in the south, travelers afraid to journey through parts of Nigeria, and our nation once again thrown into unnecessary bloodshed. No, that was the battle I could not lose. So, at 4 a.m. on Saturday, I left Abuja by road for Aromi. I needed to look my people in the eyes, not just read reports on a desk. I needed to hear their frustrations, their anger, and their fears. I ensured the bodies of the slain were recovered and transported back to the grieving families. I ensured the injured survivors received treatment and were safely reunited with their loved ones. I charged security agencies to go after the perpetrators. I engaged our northern brothers in Edo. I assured them that the actions of a few did not define our people. I believe a true leader does not let emotions blind him from doing what is right. Edo people are known for their hospitality, not hatred. That point had to be established. I knew the matter could not end in Aromi. I flew back to Abuja to brief the president and met with security chiefs to ensure national coordination. I engaged critical northern stakeholders, including Deputy Senate President Senator Barau Jibrin, to seek lasting peace. But I needed to go further. I had to face the grieving families directly. So, I traveled to Kano State to meet Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, a man whose understanding and generosity in this situation I deeply appreciate. Together, we drove over 2 hours to Banka local government, where the families of the deceased were mourning. I will never forget that moment. The pain in their eyes, the way mothers held pictures of their sons, the weight of sorrow in their voices as they spoke. I had no words to erase the grief, but I had the responsibility to show that Edo State stands against what happened. I reminded them that many Northerners have lived in Edo for decades, just as many Edo indigenes have lived in Kano and across the north. We are all Nigerians. Hate cannot solve this. I offered compensation to the grieving families, not because money can replace a life, but because responsibility must be taken. I also met with the Edo and southern communities in Kano to strengthen peace and assure them of their safety. Now, let me be clear, justice will be served. The 14 individuals responsible will face the full weight of the law. That is non-negotiable. Anyone who violates the law must face the consequences. But my first duty was to stop more blood from being spilled. To those who secretly hoped for mass killings and chaos, just so they could score cheap political points, you have been put to shame, and I know you now feel regret for your intentions. To those who feel disappointed, I understand. I am coming back home. I will sit with my people, as I always do. We will talk, we will heal, and together, we will find our own solutions for our own problems. Here is the lesson I leave you with. When life throws multiple battles at you, always fight the one that has the greatest consequence if you lose. That is leadership. That is wisdom. That is why I am here. We have reported that the Edo State Governor, Edo Okpebholo, on Monday visited Kano State to sympathize with the people of the state over the last Thursday killing of travelers at Aromi town in the Essen Northeast local government area of Edo State, when some youths in the Edo community that have been experiencing incessant killings and abductions of the villagers by suspected herders stopped a moving Dangote cement truck and found the travelers to be in possession of 19 locally fabricated guns, which some members of the public claimed the travelers were hunters traveling from Port Harcourt in Rivers State to Kano with the guns alleged to be licensed. This, the Nigeria police boss, the Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetoken, apparently dismissed the allegations that the Dane guns were licensed, and probably described the victims to be in possession of illegal firearms, and thus, warned and directed anyone in possession of illegal firearms to surrender such to the nearest police station, and directed the Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of the Force Criminal Investigation Department FCID, Dig Sadiq Abubakar, to take over the case, with reports indicating that the 14 suspects arrested in connection to the mobbing and burning to death of the travelers, said to be 16 in numbers, may have been transferred to Abuja for police investigation.
Osazuwa Connedio, bringing you the news in a more digital way.